Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because, well, you want to cut through the noise, right?
Hmm.
Grab the essential knowledge and really understand what matters.
Yeah, get straight to the good stuff.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into Marc Reklau's 30 Days, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life.
It's a book that promises, actionable steps for making positive changes in your life.
Right, so our mission here is to pull out the most impactful ideas, the stuff you can use right away.
And present it clearly, make it engaging, focus on what's relevant for you, the listener.
Okay, so this book is pretty packed. Where does Reklau even start with these big life-changing ideas?
He kicks things off with something really fundamental.
Such as,
Taking responsibility, complete ownership of your life. He actually quotes Brian Tracy on this.
oh yeah, what's the quote?
Peak performance begins with your taking complete responsibility for your life and everything that happens to you. Strong start.
That is a strong start.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, but, it's so easy to blame things, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost instinct. The traffic made me late. My boss is unfair. The economy.
Right, the list goes on. But Reklau argues that's, well, disempowering.
Totally. Because if everything bad is someone else's fault, where's your power? You're just reacting.
Exactly. Taking responsibility, he says, puts you in the driver's seat. You get to choose how you respond.
It's that difference between reacting automatically and consciously responding. Big difference.
He has that Erica Jong quote, too, doesn't he?
Oh.
Something about...
Yeah, you take your life in your own hands, and what happens? A terrible thing. No one to blame. Kind of funny, but it makes the point.
It really does. No more scapegoats. It forces you to look inward.
Like that example of being late for work.
Yeah, cursing the traffic jam.
Ah.
That's reacting.
But responding, that's thinking, okay, maybe I need to leave 10 minutes earlier next time, or check an app.
Right. It puts the control back with you.
And that feeling of control, that sense of agency, it flows directly into the next key idea.
Which is the power of our choices and decisions.
Exactly. Reklau makes this really strong point. Your life, right now, is basically the sum total of all your past choices, every single one.
Big and small.
Yeah.
And they all have consequences.
Right. And here's a kicker. He says it's vital to actually make decisions. Don't get paralyzed.
Even if a decision turns out to be, not the best.
Especially then. He frames mistakes as feedback, essential data for learning and moving forward. Forgive yourself, learn the lesson, keep going.
That's a really constructive way to look at it. It connects to that Viktor Frankl example he uses, right?
Absolutely. Frankl, in a concentration camp, facing unimaginable horror,
Yeah.
he realized they couldn't take away his ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose his response, his attitude to those circumstances.
Wow. That space between the stimulus, what happens to you, and your response.
That's where the power is. Reklau really hammers this home. It's less about the event itself, more about how you react to it.
So, if you want to be healthier,
Mm-hmm.
the stimulus might be feeling sluggish. The response is the choice. Stick with the old habits or decide consciously to eat better, move more.
Precisely. And what fuels those choices? What shapes those responses?
Our beliefs. That's the next big one.
Yes. He quotes James Allen, "The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to reflect their inner beliefs." Powerful stuff.
So the idea is we don't see the world objectively.
Not really. We see it through the filter of our beliefs. Beliefs built up over years, often unconsciously. Our perception is our reality, in a way.
He mentions things like the placebo effect, Pygmalion effect.
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecies. All examples of how our minds, our expectations, can literally shape outcomes.
So how does he define a belief then?
As information, conscious or unconscious, that we accept as true, it becomes a habitual thought pattern,
And these patterns influence our emotions,
which drive our actions.
which create our results. It's a cycle.
Exactly. So if you want to change your life's results, Reklau argues you have to start with your thinking, your beliefs.
He gives examples, right? Like disempowering beliefs
Things like, life is hard, I'm not good enough, there's never enough money.
versus empowering ones.
I create my own destiny, life is full of opportunities, I am capable. Big difference in how you approach things.
And pushes the reader, pushes you to reflect.
Yeah, asking, what do you believe about yourself? About money, relationships, your health, really digging deep.
Okay, so beliefs are huge.
Yeah.
And building right on that is attitude.
Attitude is key. He brings back Frankl again.
The last of human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances.
Nailed it. Life throws curveballs, right? Good stuff, bad stuff. It's unavoidable.
So the key isn't dodging the bad stuff.
It's choosing your perspective. Accepting the bad, but reframing it. seeing every event as both a challenge and an opportunity.
It comes back to that core idea. It's not what happens, it's how you respond. Your attitude is your response,
Yeah.
essentially.
Remember the lemon analogy?
Make lemonade.
Or, as Reklau cheekily adds, grab some salt and tequila. It's about making a conscious choice about your reaction.
He also lists some healthy attitudes to cultivate.
Yeah, like allowing yourself to make mistakes and actually learn from them. Being okay with not knowing everything.
Asking for help when you need it. That's a big one for some people.
And separating past actions from future potential. Don't let past slip-ups define you forever.
So a practical step here.
Think of a negative situation you're facing right now. Seriously. Pause and think.
Okay.
Now, try to consciously turn it around. Look for a different angle. Is there a hidden opportunity? A lesson?
That's a good exercise, which flows nicely into perspective and resilience.
Exactly. Perspective is how you choose to see things. Oscar Wilde's quote.
The optimist sees the donut, the pessimist sees the whole. Classic.
It really highlights how focus shapes experience. And Reklau stresses that failure isn't the end point.
It's part of the process.
Often a necessary part of the process for growth and success.
He lists those famous examples. Walt Disney fired for lacking imagination.
Edison failing thousands of times with the light bulb. Oprah told she wasn't right for TV. The Beatles rejected.
It really puts our own setbacks into perspective, doesn't it?
It does. And he prompts reflection again. Think about your recent failures.
What did you learn? What good actually came out of it, maybe unexpectedly?
These reflections build that resilience muscle.
Okay, so growth often means getting uncomfortable. Reklau addresses this head on.
Yeah, quoting Keter McWilliams, be willing to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but profound.
That discomfort is often a sign you're stretching, right? Moving beyond the familiar.
Absolutely. Reklau encourages doing things others might shy away from, forgiving people, going the extra mile, taking that 100% responsibility we talked about earlier.
And importantly, he says big change doesn't always need massive leaps.
Right. He's a big fan of baby steps. Small, consistent, manageable changes.
Like what?
Could be as simple as changing your route to work, trying a different cafe for lunch, tiny shifts to break patterns.
These small steps add up over time.
They absolutely do. And linked to action is the power of our words, language itself.
Orwell's idea that thought corrupts language, but language can also corrupt thought.
And Tony Robbins saying, the story we tell ourselves holds us back.
So the words we use to describe our experiences, they actually become the experience.
That's the argument. So it's about being conscious of your self-talk, choosing positive, empowering language, asking better questions.
Which naturally leads to forming better habits.
Yes. Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit.
And the book mentions that 21-day idea for forming a new habit.
Yeah, it's a common benchmark, give or take. The point is consistency. Focus on adding positive habits.
Like focusing on the good, working on goals daily, getting outdoors, reading.
Even just 15 minutes of quiet time for yourself.
He suggests tracking progress visually.
Yeah, like a chart or checklist, and rewarding yourself for sticking with it creates positive reinforcement.
And the action step.
Make a list. 10 daily habits you want to build.
Okay, but before changing habits, you need to know where you're starting from. Self-awareness.
Crucial. Aristotle again. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom.
Reklau has a lot of reflective questions here.
Deep ones. What are your dreams? Biggest regrets? What motivates you? What limits do you perceive?
Biggest wins. Biggest frustrations. Are you a people pleaser? What are you avoiding? When do you feel most fulfilled?
It's about getting really honest with yourself, painting a clear picture of your inner world.
And this self-discovery leads into understanding your core values.
Whoa, yes. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're what truly drive you. Reklau says knowing your top 4 values is critical for a fulfilling life.
Why? What happens if you don't know them or live by them?
That's often where tension and dissatisfaction come from, when your life, your actions, are out of sync with what you deeply value.
So how do you figure them out?
He suggests starting with a big list, grouping similar ones, then narrowing it down to your absolute top 4.
And more questions to help.
What's truly important? What gives you purpose?
Yeah.
When do you feel inner peace? When do you lose track of time?
Who do you admire and why? What drives you crazy?
These clues point towards your core values.
So once you have that self-awareness and know your values, then comes goal setting.
Exactly. You need a target, Clear goals are essential before starting any change.
Break them down into small steps. Give them deadlines.
Right. He uses that great quote, if you put a date on a dream, it becomes a goal. Makes it concrete.
He has that exercise too. Visualizing your life in 10 years.
Yeah, write it down. No limits. Really feel it. What does it look like, sound like, feel like?
And the goals need to be yours. Specific, positive.
And you have to commit. Reward the effort, not just the final win.
Action step. Write down 3 goals and the very first action for each. Do it now.
But the path isn't always easy. Rejection happens.
Ah, yes, dealing with rejection. Stallone's quote.
I take rejection as someone blowing a bugle in my ear to wake me up and get going. Love that.
He gives examples like Colonel Sanders getting rejected over and over.
Yeah, it shows resilience.
Yeah.
So the reflection is, how will you deal with rejection from now on? See it as feedback, not failure.
Okay, making all these changes takes energy. Reklau talks about energy robbers.
Big time. Energy is fundamental, Franklin. Energy and persistence conquer all things. Aristotle. The energy of the mind is the essence of life.
So what drains our energy, according to Reklau?
Unhealthy habits, negativity, lack of focus, too much news.
And energy vampires.
Those people who just drain you. You know the type. Be selfish with your energy, he says. Protect it.
How do you boost energy then?
Eliminate distractions. Finish those nagging, unfinished tasks. Deal with tolerations. We'll get to those.
And cut off ties or limit contact with those energy-draining people.
Yeah. So the self-assessment is, what's robbing your energy? What will you do about it?
He also mentions time robbers.
Similar idea. Lack of info, try and do it all yourself. Interruptions, long calls, disorganization, inefficiency, being constantly available.
Which leads perfectly into the power of saying no.
Hugely important. Saying no to others often means saying yes to yourself, to your priorities. Bill Cosby's quote.
I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. So true.
Reklau shares his own story of being overwhelmed by saying yes too much. Learning to say no was transformative.
Saying no without guilt. That's the key part. Prioritizing your own well-being.
So ask yourself, whose life are you living? Yours? Or are you just trying to meet others' expectations?
Action step. Make a list of things you will stop doing. What do you say NO to?
Next up, the benefits of getting up early.
Aristotle again. It is well to be up before daybreak, for such habits contribute to health, wealth, and wisdom.
Think about the extra time. Even 30, 60 minutes a day adds up massively over a year.
Reklau talks about that special morning energy too, before the world gets noisy.
Yeah, promotes calm, focus. He mentions running by the sea at sunrise. Sounds idyllic.
And it builds discipline. Self-respect. He lists famous early risers.
Mandela, Gandhi, Obama. It's a common trait among successful people. He touches on sleep science too.
Suggesting maybe 6 hours of quality sleep plus a power nap might be enough for some.
Yeah, quality over quantity. Experiment, see what works for you. He connects waking up to mindset too.
Right. It's easier to jump out of bed for a vacation than for a job you dislike. It's a choice in that moment.
Then he takes aim at mass media consumption. TV, news.
Umberto Eco's quote about needing critical reflection, not hypnosis from images.
And Mokokomo Mokonoa calling news glorified gossip. A bit harsh, maybe, but makes you think.
The average TV time is staggering, and it
Oh,
often
yeah.
drains energy, doesn't add much value.
Reklau suggests replacing it. Walk, talk to family, read.
He quit watching the news himself and felt much better.
Yeah. Suggests maybe just scan headlines if you need to stay informed. Avoid the deep dive into negativity. Control your information diet. Choose positive or educational content.
Okay, circling back to growth, stepping out of the comfort zone again.
Can't emphasize it enough. Jack Canfield, everything you want is outside your comfort zone.
Feeling fear or doubt when trying something new, that's normal.
Totally normal. It's actually a sign you're pushing boundaries, making progress. Act despite the fear.
So the reflection is, how can you challenge yourself? What makes you uncomfortable that you could do NOW?
Now, this next concept is interesting. Tolerations and uncluttering.
Abraham Hill. Clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. What does Reklau mean by tolerations?
They're those small nagging annoyances or inconveniences you just put up with. Things you tolerate day after day.
He gives that example of his client Lawrence feeling like a sloth.
Yeah, and they uncovered a ton of tolerations. Procrastination, poor sleep, unsatisfying work tasks, maybe a messy desk, a dripping tap. Small stuff adding up.
In addressing them, uncluttering them, made a huge difference.
Lawrence felt 10x lighter, more energy, more enthusiasm. It even spilled over into tidying his physical space.
So the idea is to identify your own tolerations, quick fixes and bigger ones,
Yeah,
and tackle them.
exactly. Stop tolerating the things that drain you bit by bit.
Makes sense. Then optimizing mornings and evenings, routines,
Super important. How you start and end your day sets the tone.
morning rituals, he suggests.
Positive thinking, gratitude, quiet time, visualizing a good day, watching the sunrise, walking, journaling. Pick what works for you.
And evening rituals.
Similar vibe, journaling, reflection, planning the next day, huge time saver, visualizing, reading, music. But definitely avoid upsetting news or content right before bed. Your mind is more receptive then.
Right. Planning the next day is a big one. Saves decision fatigue in the morning.
So think about it. How will your ideal mornings and evenings look? Will you get up 30 minutes earlier? What's the last thing you'll do before sleep?
Discovering your purpose. That's a big topic.
Huge. That feeling of being lost or empty often stems from lacking a clear sense of purpose.
Reklau says purpose lies at the intersection of values, skills, passions, ambitions.
And he provides those deep, reflective questions again.
Who am I? Why am I here? What do I really want? When do I feel fully alive?
When does time fly by? What inspires me? What are my strengths? What would I do if success was guaranteed?
Or if you had millions, houses, traveled everywhere,
Yeah.
what then?
Yeah, the action step is to watch that video. What if money was no object? On YouTube. Very thought-provoking.
Daily walks. Seems simple, but he really advocates for it.
Especially in nature. Thoreau. An early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day.
Benefits: stress reduction, relaxation, energy boost, creative thinking.
That Stanford study showed walking improves creativity. Reklau shares his own experience, too. Walks helped with stress, emotions, sleep.
So the challenge is, when will you start walking an hour a day? Try it for 30 days, see how you feel.
Next, positive what-if questions. Our expectations shape things.
We tend to default to negative what ifs, right? What if I fail? What if they say no?
Reklau says flip it. Ask, what if the opposite is true?
So instead of what if it goes wrong,
Yeah,
ask what if it goes amazingly well?
exactly. It shifts your entire energy. Less stress, more peace, more motivation. You become the inventor of your experience.
Action. List your fears and negative what ifs. Turn them all around.
Letting go of the past. So important for moving forward.
Joseph Campbell. We must be willing to let go of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us.
And the Tao Te Ching. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Beautiful.
Dwelling on past regrets or dramas just steals energy from now and the future.
Stop replaying them. Focus on what you want to create moving forward. Learn the lesson, then let it go.
Deepak Chopra. I use memories, but I will not allow memories to use me. Powerful distinction.
And complete the past. Finish unfinished business and relationships. Work. Don't leave things hanging.
Action. What's incomplete in your life? List it. Work on it.
Prioritization and simplification. Cutting through the clutter of modern life.
To focus on what's truly important. Simplify everything else.
Automate, delegate, eliminate. Hire help if you can. Stop trying to do everything.
Because trying to do everything means getting nothing important done, usually.
So is your schedule too packed? Too many commitments? Downsize possessions? Simplify cooking?
Manage email and phone notifications. Unsubscribe from junk. Reconsider the daily paper.
Maybe explore working from home, reducing hours if possible. Anything to simplify and focus.
The value of reading. Reklau is big on this.
Calls it a powerful habit for growth and learning. He devoured books himself.
Always have a book with you. Replace some TV news time with reading, especially before bed.
Promotes peace, boosts creativity. Action. List 6 books you'll read in the next 3 months.
Saving money. Another practical habit.
Paul Clibero. Personally, I tend to worry about what I save, not what I spend. Good perspective shift.
Having savings, 9 to 12 months expenses, brings security, freedom.
Less dependence on a job you hate. Power to say no to bad situations. Buffle for transitions or sabbaticals. Removes desperation from interviews.
Freedom to choose clients you like, if you're self-employed.
Automate it. Save first, then spend what's left.
So will you try it? When will you start saving?
Forgiveness and self-acceptance. Crucial for inner peace.
Holding on to resentment or harsh self-criticism is toxic.
Action steps. List people to forgive. List things to forgive yourself for. Start working through them.
Reflect. What would life be like if you fully accepted yourself? If you truly forgave yourself and others?
Arriving early. That simple habit again. 10 minutes early for appointments.
The French proverb. The while we keep a man waiting, he reflects on our shortcomings. Ouch.
Punctuality shows discipline, respect, but mainly it benefits you.
Gives you that buffer. Time to compose yourself, feel relaxed, prepared, more professional, less stressed.
Try it. See if it makes a difference for you.
Focusing on self-change. Lasting change starts within.
Gandhi. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Classic for a reason.
So what do you want to change? Start with yourself. What will you do differently?
And ditch the word try.
Master Yoda, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Trying implies doubt, the possibility of failure. Just commit to doing. Adopt the just do it mindset.
Reframe failures as learning opportunities. Always learning.
Affirmations. Using positive statements to reprogram the subconscious.
They need to be personal, positive, specific, emotional, present tense.
Examples. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I am healthy and fit. I am confident and capable.
And the repetition technique.
Write them down 25 times a day, Muhammad Ali. It's the repetition of affirmations that lead to belief. Once belief becomes conviction, things happen.
Overcoming excuses, we all make them.
Not the right time. Too young old, impossible, no money time. My case is different.
Reklau challenges these. The right moment rarely just arrives. Age is often irrelevant. Resources can be found. The different case is usually self-deception.
If you keep doing the same things, you'll keep getting the same results. Simple as that.
So choose. Excuses or focused action. What excuses are you using?
Designing your ideal day. That visualization exercise again.
Dr. Wayne Dyer. I'll see it when I believe it. The power of belief.
Write it down. Vivid detail. Waking up, where you live, health, who you're with, work, activities, no limits.
Make it fun. Notebook, scrapbook, collage. Review it weekly. Read it aloud with enthusiasm. Record it maybe.
Get started. Write out your ideal day now.
Accepting your emotions. You're responsible for them because they stem from thoughts.
Roger Ebert. Your intellect may be confused, but your emotions will never lie to you. They're signals.
Emotions are energy in motion. Physical reactions to thoughts. Control emotions.
Accept them. Don't fight them. Each has a function. Fear protects. Anger sets boundaries. They are part of you, not all of you.
Taking immediate action. Do it now.
Stop procrastinating, Lincoln. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today.
Picasso. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. Powerful.
Dr. Dyer again. Go for it now. The future is promised to no one.
Procrastination breeds anxiety. Often the task you dread is done quickly once you start.
Fear and overwhelm are common causes. How do people procrastinate?
Doing nothing. Doing easier, less important tasks. Pretending trivial things are urgent.
So what are you procrastinating on? Are you productive or just busy? What's really important right now?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Act as if.
William James, if you want equality, act as if you already have it.
The subconscious can't easily tell real from imagined. Acting as if helps build the trait, like modeling in NLP. So what quality do you want? How would you act if you already had it? Speak, walk, behave, embody it.
Body language. Posture affects feelings, confidence.
That simple exercise. Stand tall, shoulders back, head high. Notice the immediate shift.
He mentions that study linking straight posture to confidence and the TED Talk on power posing. Worth checking out.
Journaling again. Specifically nightly reflection.
Tolstoy. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Start within.
Journaling boosts happiness, motivation, self-esteem. Focus on positives and gratitude before sleep. Influences subconscious. Improves sleep. Questions for nightly journaling. Grateful for. Biggest wins. Learn today. Improve tomorrow. Proud of.
Stop complaining. It's useless. Breeds self-pity. Isn't attractive.
Lou Holt's quote, "Never tell your problems to anyone. 20% don't care, and the other 80% are glad you have them." Brutal, but maybe some truth.
Confucius is more constructive. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Take action instead. Complaining is victim mode.
Surround yourself with positive people. Huge impact.
Action. List people you spend time with. Who lifts you up? Who drags you down?
Spend more time with the positive ones. Less with the toxic ones, blamers, complainers. Choose supportive people. Watch Steve Jobs' Stanford speech.
Live authentically. Be yourself.
May Sarton. We have to dare to be ourselves, however frightening or strange.
E. Cummings. Fighting to be nobody but yourself is the hardest battle. Never stop fighting it.
Prioritize your health. Foundational.
Buddha. To keep the body in good health is a duty for a strong, clear mind.
The irony. People say health is important, then act unhealthily.
A healthier life is a decision away. Balanced diet, exercise, get in shape.
Examples: more fruits veg, less red meat, drink water, eat less, stop junk food, get up early.
Action. Write down 3 things you'll do now for better health.
Taking consistent action. Results come from doing.
Henry Ford, you can't build a reputation on what you were going to do.
C.G. Young, you are what you do, not what you say you'll do.
It's a cycle. Act to results. Feedback. Learn, improve. Act again.
Act on ideas. Start small. Be consistent. Action is the difference maker.
Martin Luther King Jr., take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase.
So the final action prompt here. What will you start today?
Enjoy the present moment. Be here now.
Fish in a ton. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it.
Albert Camus. Real generosity towards the future lies in giving all to the present.
Wow. Thinking about past or future steals the now. Read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now.
Bill Cosby again. The past is a ghost, the future a dream. All we ever have is now.
Action. Remind yourself to be present. Maybe set a reminder, like Reklau's Friends Watch.
Practice kindness. Benefits flow back to you.
Action. One random act of kindness daily for 2 weeks. Observe results. Expect nothing back.
Solve problems directly. Don't avoid them.
Henry Ford again. Most people spend more time and energy going around problems than in trying to solve them.
Unsolved problems repeat. Changing jobs, relationships. If the core issue isn't addressed within you, it follows you.
Take ownership. Look for the solution within. Ask, how could I be different? What can I do?
Action. Identify one problem you're avoiding. Take the first step to solve it today.
Meditation. Daily practice for focus and calm.
He suggests a simple method. Quiet space, relax, maybe affirmations. Timer, sit Lee down, close eyes, or soft focus. Focus on breath. Let thoughts pass.
No wrong way to do it. Find what works. Explore resources online, classes. Just try it. Take action.
The power of music. Listen daily.
Hans Christian Andersen. Where words fail, music speaks.
William Congreve. Music has charms to soothe a savage breast. Uplifting, calming.
Use travel time productively. Commutes.
Read or listen to audiobooks instead of news or zoning out. William Penn. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst.
Commuting adds up to a lot of hours. Make them count.
Try it for 2 weeks, see how your life changes.
Don't be a slave to your phone.
Thoreau. Men have become the tools of their tool. So relevant today.
Your phone serves you, not the other way around. Let calls go to voicemail. Respond when it suits you.
Remember the roommate who only answered when he wanted to? Intentional?
Action. Try it. Leverage voicemail. Reclaim control.
View problems as opportunities. Shift your perspective.
Earl Nightingale. Our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us.
Edison again. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Resilience.
Problems contain the seeds of their own solutions. Look for them.
Reflection. What problems are you facing? How can you look at them differently? What are the opportunity seeds?
Stepping further outside your comfort zone. Keep stretching.
Growth happens there. Discomfort is a good sign. Act despite fear. Keep pushing boundaries.
Reflection. How can you step further out? What small, uncomfortable step can you take today?
Consider the cost of inaction. What's the price of not changing?
Bill Clinton. The price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. Often true.
Reklau's story of leaving a burnout job. The boss in Mexico facing breakdown.
There's always a price. Price of action, discomfort, or price of inaction, stagnation, regret. Choose your suffering wisely.
So what price are you paying right now for not changing things you want to change?
And finally, setting meaningful goals again. Know what you want.
Final action. Write down 5 specific goals with deadlines. Make them real.
So there we have it, a really deep dive into Marc Reklau's core ideas from 30 days, change your habits, change your life.
Yeah, we covered a lot. Taking responsibility, the power of choice, beliefs, attitude, perspective.
And the absolute need for consistent action. Small steps adding up.
These aren't just nice ideas, they're tools. Tools for you, the listener, to actively shape your life.
Right. So our final thought for you. What's one small but significant action you can take today, right now?
Based on everything we've talked about, which principle really hit home for you?
How can you start weaving that into your daily life? Because that tiny first step, that's where the real transformation begins.